Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bonfire Racing Network. It's me, as always, Jared Kelly. We're here in Chicago, downtown Chicago, that is, for the Chicago Street Course for the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. Let's move over to our race info. You can see the track map there, different from what these guys have ran on in the past on the actual road courses. So ambient temperature is 81, track temp is 108 degrees there for almost a 2-mile racetrack in downtown Chicago. Cloud cover as normal with some high winds than what I've seen before. But we've got some action for you guys here today. And just to show you what these drivers are going to be going through today, I provided a little bit of a ride-along video on a full lap here at Chicago. So let's go on to that. Going down into turn number 1, hard braking zone on new tires. A little bit of a lockup there on the right or the left rear. Down into turn number 2, down to first gear, trying to set up all the momentum here down the long straightaway towards turn 3 and 4. A lot of bumps here at Chicago. Got to get her woed down into this tight section. Hopefully there's no wreck. Try and get as close to that wall as you can to set up down the back straightaway here, down into turn number 6. Another hard braking zone after this long straightaway. Brake hard, brake early if you don't want to get into the outside walls there in the Gregson corner. Up the bridge over to turn number 7 to set up the fountain section. Another slow, technical, tight corner. Probably not going to see any passing through here today. But on to my favorite part of the racetrack, the fountain section. Up through the corner. Little semicircle here, really fast, set up into the McDonald's corner. Down into first gear here to set up for the final 2 corners. Hard braking zone into the final corner, set up for the front straightaway. And that is a lap here around the Chicago Street Course. So a lot of tight braking zones, not a lot of passing opportunities. I was talking to some of the drivers, and we think that the first half of the racetrack is where you're going to see most of those passing zones on the long straightaways and everything like that. But you got to stay out of those walls first. If you're going to try and pass cars, you got to stay out of those walls, and you're surrounded by them. As we are looking at the landscape, we're waiting for practice to end here around Chicago. Shouldn't have much longer. About another minute, and then we'll get straight into qualifying. If we can go to our timing tower, we can see who's fast in practice. That's Dave Medina, Kevin Kyle, and David Owens, your top 3 in practice. Those guys able to get a fast lap in, followed by Nick Mills, Brandon Shelton, David Brenner, Joe Volpes, Kyle Lynott, Joseph Amato, and Dennis Puckett. David Buell also out on track, but hasn't put down a clean lap. So 11 cars here today for the overall race, as those practice has just concluded. While these drivers get set up, let's go on to our point standings here. Dave Medina leading that point standings, 137 points. Buddy Sally in second, as the points kind of flickered out there. Buddy Sally not here today, so he's going to drop down the point standings to Joe Volpes, Kyle Lynott, Kevin Kyle, Nick Mills, David Owens, David Brenner, and Brandon Shelton possibly, and David Buell possibly, to drop all the way down to 10th. All the drivers you see in the green are good for the playoffs. We're not close to playoff time yet, but just to start focusing on that picture, we see Chris Morrill, Thomas Fox, and Ryan Twynham there. Those first 3 are outside the playoffs. If we go on, we can go to next, as it's kind of flickering out here just a little bit. It's just wanting to be a pain. Let's try reloading the overlay. Maybe not. Still showing those points, so give me a few seconds here. Try and close out SDK. And maybe we should be good. Yeah, there we go. Now we're good. So let's go on board with David Medina here, as he's going to start his qualifying effort. And all these drivers are on their warm-ups laps. But we're going to watch David Medina first, as I believe he's actually David Brenner on his first lap. So we'll go on board with David Brenner here, as he's going to be starting. He's on his first lap right now, so we'll see where it lines him up at. And try not to hit any of the walls and get a 0x. Make you lose your time in general. As out of the final corner, now David Brenner's going to come for his first lap. He'll have one more to go to try and improve, but should be a first lap for David Brenner. And it puts him second. Joe Volpes there on pole right now with a 33.2. David Medina, as he exits now the final corner, should expect a fast lap from David Medina. And it's fastest for David Medina, 1 minute 30.6. Kevin Kyle also, he's actually down pit road with a 138.5. Maybe he had an issue in his qualifying attempt. Now on board with David Owen. Saw him a little hiccup there through the fountain section. A little slow. It's second to last corner. Let's see what he does outside the last corner. Oh, he's got to spin out. Not the luck David Owens wanted to have for his first lap. He's going to try and have to build up all that momentum for this second lap. And he's just going to back up and he's going to reset from pit road. Kyle Anott now through the final corner. Across the start-finish line, Kyle Anott. Don't see a time, so maybe had a hiccup. Probably got a 0x somewhere for touching a wall. Dave Medina for his final lap. Can he improve his time? I don't think so. I think he maybe got a wall just a little bit, maybe a 0x. But it's going to be David Brenner there on that second row. Now Nick Mills. Across the start-finish line for his final lap. It's a 33.24. Joseph Amato moving up to the 5th position with a 137.4. Kyle not through the fountain section. A little loose outside. Near the final corner, Kyle Lynott, can he put a time down to maybe have a better starting position? Across the start-finish line, it is a 132.7. David Owens now, can he have anything to get up onto that front row? It doesn't look like it. I think it's 0x stopping David Owens from putting a time down, but Nick Mills just trying to get some extra practice laps. I think that's going to do it for qualifying. So we see David Owens in the pits, but I don't think it's going to result in anything. As we have 2 minutes before the start of the race, I'm going to try something here. David, I hope I'm not pulling you from anything important. Just wanted to get a quick pre-race interview. You're sitting on pole right now with a 130.6. How you feeling at the start of this road course? You don't have me or Jason Landry in there, or Buddy Sally. You think you can get her done here to win a road course?
You know, it's possible with the top three road course guys not being on the track today. We got a good starting position, so I think that's important. Just got to keep it clean, keep it off the wall, and hit my marks.
All right, and you worried about any of the guys behind you, Kyle Lynott, David Brenner, Jill Vulpes for the start of the race?
Well, you know, going into turn one is, you miss your spot if you lock up the brakes. It's hard to stop the cars. So, Road America going into turn one, I got spun out. So worried a little bit about that. As far as speed wise, I think some of these guys will get real comfortable with this track. Kevin Kyle has been fast in practice too, so I expect he'll work his way up the track. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right, I'll put you back in your group of guys, but have a good race there and good luck.
Appreciate it, man.
That was David Medina, driver of the number 9. And I think we should be almost close enough for qualifying. Yeah, we see about 20 seconds left here in qualifying. I think they're doing the driver's intro or driver meeting now. So we're just waiting for the results to pop up for the grid. And there we go. See if it pops up here. And there is your almost grid, kind of being wonky. Let's try and see if I can clean this up. There we go. We'll do it that way. Dave Medina on pole, 2 seconds behind is Kyle Lynott, and David Brenner 2.2 behind him. And then it's Joe Vulpes, Nick Mills, Joseph Amato, David Buell, Kevin Kyle, David Owens, Brandon Shelton, and Dennis Puckett That's going to round out your top 11, your whole field here today for the Chicago Street Course. Small field here for the road course. Kind of expected it's not a playoff race. But those last three not able to put down a time. It's showing us pole as Kyle and I, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, see, David Medina is on pole. I think the camera's just a little screwed up, so we're just waiting to go green here. Waiting on 4 more cars to grid up. Then we'll have 1 pace lap for these drivers to warm up their tires and brakes, and then we'll be underway here at the Chicago Street Race. See Barney the flagman up there in the flag stand as normal. And we're about to start rolling here. Pace car is going to start rolling, and we're going to get underway as Joseph Amato and Dennis Puckett have missed the grid. That's going to move, I believe, Kevin Kyle up to that 3rd row alongside Nick Mills. Nerves that these drivers are feeling right now. That's going to be the first road course here for season 11. And it's a new face at the front of the field here on a road course. It's Dave Medina. Had a lot of practice Friday night in the Friday Night Beer League at Watkins Glen. Got the win there. So he's got a little bit going, momentum going his way on the road courses here. And he's just got, like he said, he's got to hit all his marks. And yeah, hope he doesn't get ran into the back of going into turn number 1. So we see the cars crest over the bridge. These drivers are going to try and get side by side, 2 by 2, as they go green. Kyle and I having to try and get up there to David Brenner, or David Medina, I'm sorry. As Kyle and I's not going to be able to get there, it's going to be green flag racing here at Chicago. Barney the Flagman with the green flag. Green flag up in the air, roaration on the streets of Chicago. Kyle and Ott with a really good start there on the outside, Dave Medina, but Dave Medina is going to have the advantage into turn number 1. All clean as of now. We don't see anybody spinning out yet. Kevin Kyle lost a few spots there at the start of the race. Further back, I think that's Brandon Shelton and Kevin Kyle. They were almost side by side into the hard braking zone here in turn number 4, going into 5. As Dennis Puckett crashed, not sure where he crashed at. See him leaving the pits. And barely missed one. I don't know where he crashed at. Maybe it just showed him that he was slow. But it is still Dave Medina up front, almost 2 seconds in front of Kyle Anat already after the first lap, coming to the second as of now. Brandon Shunt, Kevin Kyle, your closest battle on the racetrack. About a half second separates these two. And there was a concern of fuel by Kevin Kyle. Laps are around, or the stints are about 22 laps when it's a 45 lap race, so they could be a lap short. We'll have to see how that plays out throughout the race. But Nick Mills tracking down Kyle Anat there for that second position. David Owens got by Kevin Kyle there out of the final corner. I think Kevin Kyle spun. Let's go back and have a look into the final corner. And he just got on the gas a little too early, just hit the wall just barely. But as that was happening, David Buell also had a spin. Out through the fountain section. Luckily, no driver was behind him. But it is going to be an uphill battle here for Kevin Kyle to try and get back up to that top 5. He's got to first get past the 11 of David Owens that we're on board with right now. As Nick Mills is putting some pressure on Kyle Anat for that second position as they go down the long straightaway towards turn 3 and 4. See if Nick can plan a move here through the hard braking zone of turn number 4. Oh, as he almost lost it there. Nick Mills is pushing hard on Kyle Anat. Maybe pushing a little too hard this early. David Brenner is back there watching them. About 2 seconds behind. Nick really fast through the fountain section. David Buell got past Joe Amato there for the 9th position as we're watching this battle. Nick Mills locking up the rears. Oh, and he almost lost it coming out of corner number 1. He holds onto it though. A lot of lockup. We can see those brake rotors glowing as he almost loses it there. On the throttle hard, trying to push his car to the absolute limit. Almost losing it at times through turns number 4. He's going to try and throw it in there. Oh, as Kyle Anott got into the wall. Nick Mills gets into the back of him, and Kyle Anott, he's in the wall. Kyle Anott probably not going to be too happy about that. So let's go back and let's see what happened there. Through corner number 4, we're on board with Kyle Anott. As he gets into the outside wall, slows down his momentum, and Nick Mills just gets into the back of him and pushes him straight into the tire barrier. And while that was going on, I believe Joe Vulpes also crashed. Going towards turn number 2. On the gas a little too early, locks it up into the inside wall. Brandon Shelton getting that pass. And we see the front end damage there to Kyle Anott's race car. But now David Owens is now on the hunt on Joe Vulpes there. Kevin Kyle right behind him as well. We saw Joe Vulpes have that spin. Joe holding on to the 5th position there. Oh, as David Owen loses it. Oh, he almost collected Kevin Kyle. Luckily, he was able to slow down, but that front bumper is broke on the 11 now. That's going to buy Joe Vulpes some time from Kevin Kyle there in the 6th position. Kevin was fast through practice. He knows how to drive on the streets. Just got slowed down and had that little spin out of the final corner. Three cars down pit road, all probably getting repairs. But it is still David Medina up front, almost 11 seconds now. He is holding a clinic here in Chicago. But Brandon Shelton 2 seconds behind David Brenner there for the 3rd position. Talked to Brandon before the race. He said he just wants to have a clean day, stay out of the wall, stay out of trouble, and just hope for a really good result, hoping for a top 5. And right now he's looking for a podium, as I believe he's just a little bit faster than David Brenner. As Nick Mills crashed their car that was running 2nd, spins into the tire barrier. He's missing his front bumper now, so huge mistake for Nick Mills in the 88. I think the front wheels may have been broken, but bad luck for Nick Mills here on the streets of Chicago. Oh, as Joe Vulpes got loose coming out of corner number 2, that's going to allow Kevin Kyle to go on through to the 5th position. Kevin's got to keep it clean here, no more mistakes. FOCM having a really good day here at Chicago. Started out rough with Kevin Kyle spinning there out of the last corner, falling all the way back to 9th, I believe. But he has moved his way up to 5th, and I'm sure Nick Mills will have to come down pit road for that front bumper repair possibly. Oh, as we hear another car, I think that was Nick Mills up front, maybe getting into the outside wall there. But we can see the lap times that Dave Medina is putting down, and those are some competitive lap times. Brandon Shelton got that gap down to David Brenner under a second. Brandon Shelton's almost a second faster than David Brenner there on that last lap. Nick Mills down pit road, so Kevin Kyle is going to be in that 4th position. As Brandon Shelton's getting ever closer to the back bumper of David Brenner. But I think Brandon's going to be a little bit patient here on the road course. I think David Brenner's going to try and push Brandon Shelton into making a mistake while passing. But we'll just have to see how it plays out. Because it's almost a second that separates them. Brandon pushing it, everything he's got out of the final corner. See him getting into the wall there. Dave Medina is almost a straightaway ahead of in front of these two. He's just now entering turn number 4. It's right on board with David Medina. Let's see what secrets he's hiding within the cockpit of this race car. And we see Brandon Shelton, he crashed. Not sure what happened to Brandon there. We see him going up the bridge into the 7th corner. Maybe he just locks it up. Oh, into the concrete wall. Bad luck for the driver of the number 2. Didn't want to make any mistakes, but you can see that. Yeah, I think that left front's kind of knocked out. That's going to be a hefty repair for the driver of the number 2. So that moves Kevin Kyle up into the 3rd position. Now he's going to have to try and track his way down to David Brenner. He's almost 10 seconds is the gap. Oh, and David Beal had a big crash, probably right in front of. I saw the lap times drop for David Medina. Not a huge crash, but thought that happened right in front of David Medina. He's got his teammate Brandon Shelton right in front of him. Brandon gonna let him go. Brandon's going to try and pick up the pieces to his mistake. Oh, and it's David Owens has a crash, and David Brenner. Not sure what happened. There's David Owens. We'll watch his crash first. Just loops it out of turn number 1. And then here's David Brenner, driver who is running second into corner number 4. Huge hit to that concrete wall. And we can see that left front is locked up. Brandon Shelton having another crash as we're watching this. A whole lot of crashes happening at this moment through the McDonald's corner. I think maybe Brandon locks it up here into another concrete wall. But that's going to put the driver who spun out on the last corner, Kevin Kyle, up into that second position. As there's just a lot of calamity here happening at Chicago. These drivers pushing at everything they've got. Dave Medina is now free if he needs to slow down and try and save some fuel, maybe to extend for that last pit stop here in 10 laps. We'll see what happens then. Looks like David Brenner crashed again. So that may allow Brandon Shelton to get by him for position. See the two now on the track map coming out of the final corner. If he can get around the 22 there, he'll have that 5th position. Dave Medina has a clean car here in Chicago. Not even the front end is scraped. See if we can have that clean paint scheme for the end of the race. As Brandon Shelton, we saw him get a little loose there in the background. David Brenner still down pit road. Joel Volpus also keeping it clean. Had a little bit of a hiccup there when he spun out. Got Kevin Kyle past him. But overall, he's got a clean looking race car. Don't really see any scrapes or bruises on that car. Maybe a little dink on the right front fender. But overall, having a good solid day, just running his laps, trying to make it to the end. Then David Owens there sitting in the 4th position with a beat up race car. Basically looks the opposite of David Medina's. Dave Medina catching up to Joseph Mato, who's 4 laps down, under threat of going 5 laps down. Be interesting to see how somebody who's not David's teammate handles being lapped. Brandon Shelton has crashed. He's down pit road. He actually jumped into the pits, so his day might be done for the driver of the number 2. I think David should catch him here on the long straight going towards turn number 4. Yeah, Joe's just going to get out of the way and let David Medina go by. Almost half a lap separates Kevin Kyle and David Medina. They're on opposite ends of the racetrack. They're actually going to be meeting nose to nose here as Kevin goes through turn number 1 and Dave Medina goes into corner number 7. Or I believe that's 6, corner number 6. But a lot of drivers sitting in the pits, David Brenner, Brandon Shelton being 2 of those. Someone having a really good day just off of luck is David Buell up in the 5th position, hoping to get a top 5 here. Being a road course guy and seeing the action on track, I do miss it. I think this would be a really fun time trying to catch David Medina as David Buell lets Joe Volpes by. So David Medina could stop twice if he has a threat of fuel. He's opened up the gap to over 40 seconds, and I think it's about 35 seconds to go down pit road and get fuel only. So we are 5 laps away from green flag pit stops. And for those of you that don't know, there are no yellow flags here on the road course, as you could probably already guess with all the accidents we've had. So it's just a straight sprint to the checkered flag. David Buell, it says, crashed there on lap 14. I think that's when he was letting Joel Volpes by for position. There are onboards from our drivers, those who are still on track. I believe we've got close to 2 laps left to go before we start seeing green flag pit stops. Kevin Kyle, that first car to go down pit road for some tires and fuel. You can see Brandon Shelton and Dennis Puckett's cars sitting in there. Joel Volpis is going to take over that second spot, but still has to make a pit stop. David Medina, another car coming down pit road. Probably part of that FOCM strategy. David getting his service there with the Chicago skyline in the background. He's actually going to get 4 tires and fuel, I think, because he thinks he's got such a big gap. He's just going to take a longer pit stop and get out. He is going to be on new tires, so he's going to have to be careful here as he goes. David Medina still ahead. See Kevin Kyle there in the number 1 car. Gonna try and get back around to Joel Volpis. Kevin shouldn't have to push too hard because Joe's gonna have to go back down pit road. Oh, as Kevin gets into the outside wall there, pushing a little too hard through turn number 4. I don't think that hurt him. Kevin's going to try and go for the inside. We're going to see an on-track pass that isn't a wreck. Kevin's just got to be smart. Looks like he does. Gets that job done. What a great pass for the driver out of Laverne, California. David Beal trying to get around David Owens. He caught up to the back of him. David Owens having a really slow lap time compared to the guys in front of him. Sure, if there was an issue, as I thought it said they crashed. I think that was them coming down pit road. Oh, it says Dave Medina crashed. Not sure what happened. Oh, huge damage for David Medina. Shows Dave Medina crashed again. Could this be the end of what could have been a really good race for the number 9? Oh, we can see those tires are all bent out of shape. And Kevin Kyle right now is trying to pick up the pieces. Oh no. Dave Medina, we see him down pit road, so Kevin Kyle is going to take over the lead of the race, your championship leader. Having issues there in the Gregson corner. And now it's a new leader, Kevin Kyle, to the point. Joe Volpus down pit road. So we're on board with Joe Volpus there. See what he does for his pit stop. Oh, and it's going to be a slow stop because he's too far back. Now he's going back up. Huge mistake for Joel Volpus in the pits. As we're halfway through this race, Kevin Kyle is now your leader. Everybody has had issues here today. Oh, Kevin Kyle pushed in the Gregson corner too. Oh no. He still got that front bumper, but does it still track good? Oh no. Everything looks and sounds fine within the one. Oh, but he's going to come down pit road. Oh, no. It is crashing down for Team FOCM. Joel Volpus going through the fountain section now. We'll see what Kevin and Kyle can do for those repairs. Kevin Kyle is now leaving pit road, but it's not going to be enough. Joe Volpus is going to go by. Kevin Kyle's going to have to track him down. Oh, as he locked up. Joe trying to get past Kevin Kyle. The nerves are setting in for everybody. Oh, Joe hit the outside wall too. He's nervous. This just got good, ladies and gentlemen. Knowing these guys and know the pressure that's on them. Both the top two trying to get that first win in the Bonfire Racing Premier Cup. Kevin Kyle closing in. Gap's now 1 second. As it's 20 laps left to go. Still a lot of race left. Still a lot of mistakes can be made. And I have no idea where these guys are on fuel. I want to say they're good on fuel. David Beal's going to take over that 4th spot from Dave Medina, who's still down pit road. Kevin Kyle is pushing the issue on Joel Volpis. Was to his back bumper there. Now they come onto the front stretch and with 19 laps left to go. Kevin Kyle, is he going to look to the inside? No, not yet. Here he comes, though. He's got to run. Not going to be able to do it into turn number 4. Down the back straightaway. Does Joe leave the door open for Kevin Kyle? He's looking to the inside. Gonna have to back out of it. This battle for the lead's heating up. Gap is now at 10th. Kevin Kyle looking to the outside. Going into turn number 7. Joe locks up. That's going to slow them both down. Kevin really fast through the fountain section here. Back to the front straightaway now. Kevin Kyle has got the momentum on the exit of the corners. Now he just has to get a run to a straightaway. Here they go towards turn number 3 and 4. Kevin Kyle 2/10 behind and gaining. Kevin lost a good amount of time there through 3 or 4 and 5. Dave Medina back out on track, 4 laps down. Joe having issues up front. We saw him get loose here through the McDonald's corner. We were riding on board there with Kevin Kyle through the fountain section. It looks like Joe was just pushing a little too hard there on exit. Down the back straightaway to corner number 6. Joe got into the wall there. Down the front straightaway they go. David Owens, David Brenner crash off screen. Oh, and Kevin locks up. No! All that progress he made. Pushing too hard into turn number 1. Kevin Kyle is closing in on Joe Vulpes there. Oh, as he gets into the wall there, he's pushing. Oh, and Joe Vulpes into the wall there. Pushed way too hard. Into the final corner. Let's go and watch it. This broadcast is full of pain for every single person in this race. Oh, right into the concrete wall. Wow. You know, when I said I wished I was a driver in this race, I take that back now. I don't want to be anywhere near this racetrack in one of these cars. It is brutal for these drivers. Wow. Kevin, take it easy. You're leading now. Please, slow down. Kevin Kyle's catching up to David Owens. David Owens teammates with Joe Vulpes there. But I think maybe David's just gonna have to realize the fight's over between him and Joe. That damage that Joe had. As David Buell spun out there in the final corner. Buell is going to go by. Joe Vulpes down pit road. $14 laps left to go here at Chicago. Kevin Kyle trying to hold on for that maiden win. We see him copy Ross Chastain paint schemes, but maybe after winning Chicago for his maiden win, maybe he's gonna have to start copying Shane Van Gisbergen. Maybe he'll switch from the 1 to the 97. But if Kevin puts a lap down on Joe and then puts a lap down on David Owens, he will have lapped the whole field. And I don't think we've ever seen anything like that happen before. As we see the 07 coming out, so Joe is coming back out onto the racetrack. Kevin Kyle is running 136s right now. So, not what we saw for qualifying. Joseph Amato has crashed. He's the driver of the number 19 in front of David Owens, or behind David Owens now. Dave Medina is still the fastest car on the racetrack, even being 4 laps down. As it's going to be 12 to go. There's no battles on track right now. I'm just holding my breath, hoping nobody spins or wrecks. Everyone's been through. Everybody's gonna have to do like group counseling after this race, and I'm all for it. The next road course we're going to is Watkins Glen with the boot. Something these cars haven't been on with these drivers. Been to Watkins Glen, but we haven't done the boot, so it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. Shows David Brenner has crashed. Go back and see what happened to him. Going into turn number 1. Kevin Kyle catching up to David Owens there, trying to put the third place car a lap down. Gonna be 9 to go left here in Chicago. Joseph Amato crashed here. See what happened to the driver of the 19. Going up over the bridge, probably into the tire barrier. Seven to go once Kevin Kyle crosses the start-finish line. Just trying to wind down all the laps here. Dave Medina slowly catching up to Kevin Kyle to get one of his laps back to go from 4 to 3 laps down. Brandon Shelton now out of the pits in the car number 2. Front end of that Chevrolet now looks more like a Dodge with how pushed in it is from the overhead camera. Five to go here for Team FOCM as Kevin Kyle is going to start cross the start-finish line. Dave Medina wanting to get one of those laps back. David Owens putting some good lap times down, trying to catch up to Joe Volpus there. David Owens saying, throwing all caution to the wind as we see him hit the wall there with the rear end. As David Beal spins out here on lap 39, we can see that that front wheel is broken. He's just trying to make it to the end. And guess the car does not turn. Yeah, there it goes. Now the right side's matching the left. As Joe Volpis is now going to pull her down pit road and get some of that damage repaired. He's thrown in the towel. As it's going to be 3 laps to go now for Kevin Kyle in the number 1 car. People are going to call this one a fluke. Say it's a road course, it doesn't count. Kevin Kyle knows it counts. He got it done where it mattered. Capitalized on all the mistakes. Now he just has to bring her home. Joseph Amano crashing there into turn number 1, I believe. Oh, Joe Volpis crashed. Along with David Brenner. It wasn't quite a crash for David Brenner. Just a heart attack. As Dave Medina is now going to try and get up into that 4th position. David Beal crashed again coming out of pit road, probably there in turn number 2. Yeah, the wheel not straight on that 52. He's going to pull her off or no, he's just slowing down. Trying to let Joe Volpis by. But it's going to be the white flag. 1 more to go for Kevin Kyle in the number 1. The race is now official. He just has to bring her home. as Kevin and Kyle approaches the spot where he thought maybe he lost the race, getting nosed in to the concrete wall. He's going to make it through with no issues. Through the fountain section for the final time. It's been 74 starts since Kevin Kyle joined the Bonfire Premier Cup League. His 75th. He's going to get his maiden win at Chicago on the streets. He's only got one final corner. Kevin Kyle. He is going to get it done at Chicago.
Well, the car's staying together, man.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Nice job, buddy.
You gotta go
Through attrition.
You gotta go all out, spend some good money on a trophy you make, and be like, anybody that wants one like this has to beat me in Chicago.
Team radios from
I'm
FOCM.
gonna make a deep dish pizza trophy.
That's awesome.
David Owen is coming home in the second position, followed by Joe Volpes holding on for third. But who's it going to be for the final spot in the top 5? David Medina just missed it out by a little bit on David Buell.
I should have been broke with the rest of y'all, man. And my car steering wheel's to the left, and I don't know, we made it through those crashes.
Good shit, Kevin. Congrats, buddy. You deserve it.
Thank you, thank you.
Anybody that took the lead made a mistake. It's crazy. Dean, I can't believe you.
Kevin Kyle parks it there on the front straightaway here at Chicago. But he's got to burn it down. Maybe he ran out of fuel. Who knows? You hear the motor still running. And as he shuts it off, I think that's going to be it. No celebratory donuts for Kevin Kyle. Somebody should razz him on that. As that's going to be it here at the Chicago Street Race. Hard race for all drivers that were involved. But it is Kevin Kyle who gets it done here on the streets of Chicago for Team FOCM. Then it's Gulf Coast Racing 2 and 3, followed by David Buell there for Red Line. And then it's Dave Medina, who was leading so many laps and hit that concrete wall just a little too hard in that 5th position. Joseph Amato there in the 19 car in 6th, followed by David Brenner, Brandon Shelton, Nick Mills, Kyle and I, and Dennis Puckett. All those guys finishing outside 20 laps down. As I have some visitors with me, I'm going to first go on to our winner, Kevin Kyle. I just have to first try and get to the start of the race where your car's sitting pretty. So Give me 1 second, Kevin. Once I find a good camera to put on you, Kevin.
No problem. No problem, buddy.
But here we are, Kevin. 75 starts later, and you finally get your first win in the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. But I said it in the broadcast. I think every driver in this race needs to have a group therapy session.
Definitely, man. It was fun there at the end, like because I was like David Medina just, was out to the races. I think he had like he's getting to a 40-second lead, and but it tracks really tough. It changes a lot. Everyone had trouble. It was a lot. It was a battle within yourself racing the track, and I made plenty of mistakes. I'm just glad this Ford Dark Horse Mustang's built Ford tough. We couldn't have made it without this Ford manufacturer program behind us. And yeah, good congrats to the crew and the team for building such a tough car because we took a lot of hits there throughout the race.
Now, what was your first initial reaction when Dave Medina noses into the concrete portion of the wall in the Gregson corner?
I was like, okay, like I got a chance now. Like it's anybody's ball game. And then but that is almost like a shot of adrenaline knowing that now like, hey, it's anybody's game. One of the bigger players is out. So that definitely gives everyone, I feel like a shot of adrenaline, knowing that it's up for grabs in a way. And you know, so it was I hated it for as a teammate seeing him get hurt. We practiced a lot this week and it paid off for us both. It's just this track is very tough.
Yeah, Kevin. FOCM with you, Brandon, and David were almost running 1, 2, 3 there, and maybe for a little bit of the race. I can't remember. It's such a long time ago. This race feels like it took forever. But you guys were having a really good showing, and then David Owens came along and almost kind of spoiled the party after Brandon spun out. David, you come home second. You started in the back. But that car is destroyed. That car is for the junkyard. But you brought her home in the second position. And you were also tracking down Joe for that second position when he was still on the racetrack. How'd the track feel? And with that damaged car, was it hurt at all when you were making those lap times?
Yeah, it was. I think my steering wheel was sitting at about 2 o'clock after that last incident I had. I just pushed him too hard, noticing I was catching both Joe and Kevin. And other than that, was driving great. Just it was basically Darlington in a road course. You have to race the track before you race your competitor. And I got over focused, and I was like, okay, I'm catching them, and made that mistake and nosed it off into the wall. Had about 30 seconds of required, and it just put me back behind the 8 ball. I was definitely catching them, and I can definitely say I don't think Bonfire is going to be returning to the Windy City after this for a couple seasons.
Well, it was definitely a long one, and I'm sure it was pretty technical with walls being on either side of you. But you had a really good showing from in practice and both qualifying from your team. Joel Volpes was leading there for a little bit. Joe, you and Kevin were battling it out there. I could tell the pressure were on both of you, just the way you were driving, and you guys were both throwing caution to the wind. It was both checkers or wreckers for both of you. Unfortunately, you got the concrete portion of the wall on the final corner coming to the start finish line with I think maybe 14 to go, and it kind of set you back from there. Were you nervous at all with Kevin being right behind you, knowing that he was just a little bit faster than you?
Yeah, by that point, I already snowballed effect myself into like 2 or 3 mistakes that really hurt the car a lot. I made a massive mistake coming on pit road. Hopefully, nobody saw that on the stream, where I was going backwards and forwards for like a good 10 seconds.
Oh, we got it. We got the footage.
Yeah, that was not good. So I lost a lot of time doing that. And then when I came out of the pits after that, the tires, I guess they cooled off so much, and I made a big mistake into I don't know, the corner after the bridge, whatever corner number that is. And
Cool.
I hit the wall hard enough where I gave myself some damage, and then Kevin pitted like at the same exact time that happened, and he came out behind me, and I knew the car was. I was just trying to hold on for as long as I could, and I was hoping I wasn't gonna make like that big of a mistake with the way the car was driving after I hit the wall that hard, and then going into that last corner, I don't know if I overshot it a little. I haven't looked back at it yet. I don't know if I missed it a little or if just the damage caught up to me and I just made just didn't turn. Not really sure which one happened.
Well, he held on for a podium result, so that's going to go well for you in the point standings. I believe you were, I think, maybe third in the points. You should move up to second now with Buddy Sally missing out on this race. We're going to go back to doing shout outs and thank yous. So, Joe, I'll let you take it away first.
Yeah, I mean, just a shout out to Bonfire Cup. This is a fun time to race with everybody. I know Kevin. Kevin, congrats on getting your first win. You do a great job with making your trophies. Kevin Kyle with his woodscapes. That's some great stuff out there. Great trophies. I know I buy them for my league, MRL Friday Night Thunder. If you want to come race with us, we do modifieds. Practice starts at 10:30 Eastern, and the race starts at 11.
All righty. Well, I think you're running the wrong type of modifieds for me to be involved with. But I'm sure it's a great time just pulling your chain just a little bit. David Owens, any final shout outs from you?
Yeah, shout out to Dennis letting us have this league and helping me put this thing on. Shout out to you up here for taking your time putting this show on for us, broadcasting week in and week out, doing it on your own time, free of charge. So we do appreciate that. So really good. Again, congrats to Kevin Kyle on his first win. It feels great to get a win in this series, in this league on Sundays because it's so competitive. So I definitely understand where he's coming from, and definitely check out his trophies as well. If anybody out there that needs them, we buy them for all of our leagues. Bonfire, Moonlight, it's all there. And he'll even work with Young Design, so it's definitely something good to have. Um, but again, shout out to my teams here, teammates here, Joe and Brenner and Kyle, making a good showing today. Hopefully, we pull out in the points. And again, thanks for everybody watching.
Or we're going to move on to the number one car. Kevin, I was making the joke saying after getting your maiden win here, you might be changing to the 97 to copy Shane Van Gisbergen. But no, congratulations to you once again. Any final shout outs from you?
Jared, just thanks for doing this. Like David said, we really appreciate it. It makes it worth racing and seeing the broadcast. It's always awesome. And just thanks to my team, David Medina, Brandon Shelton, all the guys practice, Chris Smorrell, all the guys that practice with us. And just like a shout, guns, shots fired to the league. You guys need to get your balls out of your purses and come race these road courses and practice. Because there's no excuse. We only had 8-10 guys out there. So all you other guys that are sitting by, drinking your coffee, you need to get out here and race with us and practice, because that's what it's all about, getting better at all this stuff that's challenging. So just that's it. And looking forward to my first oval win now. Got this one got this one kind of gift wrapped to me and took advantage of it, but looking forward trying to get an oval one now.
Well, Kevin, I wanted to broadcast this one just to give you a chance to win a race. I didn't want to steal the spotlight from you. So
I appreciate you. Yes.
But yeah, you want it just like I did back in Sonoma, taking advantage of mistakes made by the leaders and getting it done for your maiden win. So one more congratulations to you, Kevin. You definitely deserved it after all this time. Just unfortunate that I couldn't have been running behind you to see it.
Thanks, Jared. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
But yeah, we're going to wrap it up here from the Bonfire Racing Network. I'm Jared Kelly. We'll be back Tuesday nights for I don't even know where they're at. I kind of just do it on the flow. So hopefully we'll see you guys out there on Tuesday. We got a special guest coming in the booth Tuesday night. It's somebody different, somebody with a lot of experience and wins to his name. But we'll have to see if he can make it after hitting a concrete wall pretty hard. But we'll see. We'll catch up with you guys on Tuesday night. See you later and have fun.